Let them doubt you, turning criticism into strength there. Here's a particular silence that greets us before dawn. It is not the silence of peace. It is the silence of confrontation. Each morning, before the world begins to speak, we are forced to face the only voice that truly matters, the one within. And if we listen carefully, we will hear it whisper the memory of yesterday's judgments. They don't believe in you. They think you will fail. They say you are not enough. The world doubts. It always has. But this morning, we do not rise to argue with the world. We rise to master ourselves. The first battle is internal. When we wake, the temptation is immediate. To replay what was said. To feel the sting again. To rehearse clever responses we should have delivered. To tighten our jaw and let resentment grow roots in the chest. But we have learned something most people have not. The insult itself is powerless. It is our judgment of it that wounds us. A Roman emperor once wrote in his private journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Marcus Aurelius. We repeat this not as a slogan, but as a weapon. Because doubt from others is an outside event. And outside events are not ours too. Command. Our work lies elsewhere. We sit on the edge of the bed and breathe, slowly, intentionally. Observe the surge of defensiveness, the tightening in the stomach, the flicker of anger. We do not suppress it. We do not indulge it. We examine it. The destructive emotions, anger, shame, bitterness, are not enemies. They are signals. They reveal attachment to reputation, to approval, to being seen as impressive. But what is reputation? Smoke in other people's minds. If our peace depends on smoke, we will suffocate. So the first action of the morning is this. We reclaim sovereignty over our inner world. 2. Let them speak. We step into the cold water. The body resists. It wants comfort. It wants warmth. It wants ease. We deny it. Not to punish ourselves, but to remind ourselves that discomfort is not death. When someone doubts us, it feels like a threat to survival. Our ego reacts as though it is being attacked. But survival of what? An image, a story, a fragile identity constructed from praise. Another teacher, once enslaved and later freed, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Epictetus. That is the battlefield. The world is free to misunderstand us, free to criticize, free to underestimate, free to dismiss, and we are free not to collapse under it. Let them doubt. Let them speak. Let them misjudge. The distance we are willing to travel. Because their doubt does not define our direction. It only reveals their vision. 3. The discipline of sit in stillness before the day begins. Not scrolling, not reacting, not seeking validation, just stillness. There is something terrifying about stillness. It forces us to confront what we have been running from. Why does their doubt hurt so much? Because somewhere within us, we fear it might be true. This is where most people either break or lash out. They attack the critic. They blame the system. They distract themselves with noise. But we take a different path. If the criticism contains truth, even a fragment, then it is a gift disguised as hostility. Another voice from antiquity reminds us, difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. Seneca. We do not waste energy defending against truth. We absorb it. We refine ourselves with it. If we are undisciplined, we become more disciplined. If we are impatient, we cultivate patience. If we lack skill, we practice in silence. And if the criticism is false, then it is nothing. A shadow cannot injure stone. 4. The morning rehearsal before stepping into the world. We rehearse, not success, adversity. We imagine being doubted again, misunderstood again, mocked again, overlooked again. And we visualize our response not with fury, but with composure. Calm eyes, steady breath, focused work. There is an extraordinary power in premeditating difficulty. When it arrives, it does not surprise us. It does not destabilize us. It simply confirms what we already anticipated. As the emperor wrote to himself, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant. Meditations not to cultivate bitterness, but to cultivate preparedness. If we expect praise and receive doubt, we feel betrayed. If we expect doubt and remain grounded, we remain unshaken. Transmuting the energy. Doubt from others contains energy. If we resist it emotionally, it becomes poison. If we harness it rationally, it becomes fuel. This is the turning point. We do not prove them wrong with arguments. We prove them wrong with discipline. While they speak, we train. While they speculate, we build. While they judge, we endure. There is something almost sacred about silent improvement. The modern scholar Ryan Holiday once wrote, "The obstacle in the path becomes the path." Criticism is not in our way, it is our way, because it forces us to detach from applause and anchor ourselves in virtue, and virtue discipline, courage, patience. Integrity does not depend on recognition, it depends on choice. Vi. The death of the fragile self every morning. Something must die. Not physically, but psychologically. The fragile version of USD, one that needs approval, that craves validation, that trembles under scrutiny, must be surrendered. If we cling to that version, every doubt becomes a dagger. If we release it, doubt becomes irrelevant. We are not here to be admired. We are here to become formidable in character, and character is forged in friction. When someone says, "You can't," we do not hear a verdict. We hear an invitation to test our endurance. An invitation to deepen our resolve. An invitation to detach from ego and attach to purpose. VII. Walking into the day. By the time the sun rises fully, the work has already begun within us. We have observed our emotional reaction without surrendering to it, distinguished between what is ours to control and what is not, extracted truth from criticism where it exists, released false judgments without resentment, rehearsed adversity to remove its sting, converted doubt into disciplined action, let the fragile ego fall away. Now we step into the world not seeking to silence doubters, but to silence the weakness within, because that is the only battle that matters. Let them doubt. We will build. Let them misunderstand. We will clarify through action. Let them laugh. We will endure long enough that laughter turns into silence. And even if it never does, even if they doubt us until the end, it changes. Nothing. Our peace does not depend on their approval. Our strength does not depend on their belief. Our direction does not depend on their vision. It depends on the quiet decision we make each morning to govern ourselves, to master our impulses. To act with virtue regardless of recognition, to remember that the greatest victory is not proving others wrong, it is refusing to let their doubt corrupt our inner world. Let them doubt you. Part 2. The fire beneath the skin. There is a moment, sometime mid-morning, when the memory returns. Perhaps it is triggered by a message left unanswered, a look from someone who never believed in us, a subtle comparison, a reminder that others have advanced faster, louder, more visibly. Doubt does not always arrive as open criticism. Sometimes it arrives as silence, and silence can be louder than mockery. This is where our practice is tested, not in the safety of early morning reflection, but in the friction of the living day. We feel the heat beneath the skin, the impulse to prove, the urge to defend, but we remember something critical. To act from wounded pride is to surrender control. 8. The temptation to prove. There is a dangerous motivation that disguises itself as ambition. It whispers, "Show them. Show them your worth. Show them your intelligence. Show them your strength." On the surface, it sounds empowering, but beneath it lies dependency. If our drive is fueled by the need to silence doubters, then we have chained our effort to their opinion. They remain the axis around which we spin. We refuse this. We are not powered by resentment. We are powered by principle. The emperor wrote again in his journal, almost pleading with himself, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Marcus Aurelius. This is the pivot. We do not argue with doubt. We outgrow it. We do not chase applause. We chase excellence, because excellence answers criticism without speaking. IX. The alchemy of humiliation. There is a deeper wound than insult. It is humiliation. To be dismissed publicly, to fail visibly, to fall short in front of those who expected it. Humiliation burns because it attacks identity. But identity, if fragile, must be examined. One philosopher warned that suffering is amplified by imagination. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca. What truly happened? A comment, a laugh, a failure. But what did we add to it? I am worthless. I will never recover. They were right about me. This is where destruction begins, not in the event, but in the interpretation. So we dissect it, coldly, precisely. We separate fact from narrative. Fact, we failed. Narrative, we are failures. Fact, they doubted us. Narrative, we are incapable. The mind, left unchecked, constructs prisons from moments. But we are not prisoners of a moment. We are architects of response. Humiliation, when stripped of ego, becomes instruction. It reveals weaknesses with ruthless clarity, and what is revealed can be strengthened. X. The discipline of silence. There is power in refusing to respond immediately. When criticized, Most people rush to speak, to defend, to justify, to retaliate, but we understand the danger of reflex. Reflex is reaction without thought, and reaction without thought is surrender. The former slave who became a teacher once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Epictetus' mastery requires pause. So when doubt reaches our ears, we practice restraint. We let the words land. We let them pass. We observe the rising emotion without becoming it. Silence is not weakness. Silence is control. In silence, we assess, is this criticism useful? Does it reveal something we must correct? Or is it noise born from ignorance or projection? If useful, we thank it internally and adjust. If useless, we release it without hostility. Not every arrow deserves to be pulled from the quiver of response. Some are better left in the air, where they dissolve. The reordering of values. Why does doubt sting so deeply? Because we have been trained to value reputation above character. From childhood, we are conditioned to seek approval, grades, praise, recognition, followers, validation, but reputation is unstable currency. It fluctuates according to opinion, trend, mood. Character, however, is internal wealth. And internal wealth compounds quietly. We ask ourselves each afternoon, have we acted with discipline? Have we spoken with integrity? Have we endured discomfort without complaint? Have we kept our word? If yes, then no doubt can impoverish us. The modern interpreter of these ancient ideas, William B. Irvine, reminds us that tranquility arises when we stop demanding that the world align with our expectations. We extend this further. Strength arises when we stop demanding that the world admire us. We do not require admiration to act well. We require only clarity of principle. 12. Endurance over emotion. By late afternoon, fatigue sets in. Fatigue weakens discipline. It lowers defenses. It makes us susceptible to This is when destructive emotions attempt a final assault. Anger whispers, they disrespected you. Envy whispers, they advance faster than you. Despair whispers, maybe they were right. But we are not unaware of these voices. We have trained for them. Emotion is a wave. It rises, it crests, it falls. If we identify with it, we drown. If we observe it, we endure. We remind ourselves, no opinion has authority over our effort. No criticism has control over our discipline. No doubt can dictate our direction. The only true defeat would be to abandon our principles in response to external noise, and that we will not do. 13. The quiet work. While others speculate about our limits, we work, not loudly, not for validation. We work because improvement is within our control. Each repetition strengthens skill. Each study session deepens understanding. Each uncomfortable step expands capacity. Doubt from others becomes irrelevant when we are absorbed in growth. There is something almost invincible about a person focused on refinement rather than recognition, because refinement does not require an audience. It requires consistency, and consistency is built in mornings, like the one we began with alone. Disciplined, intentional. 14. The evening reckoning. When night returns, we sit again in stillness. The world quiets, and we examine the day without mercy and without self-hatred. Where did we react instead of respond? Where did pride flare up? Where did we allow doubt to disturb our focus? We do not condemn ourselves. We correct ourselves. The emperor's private reflections were not written for applause. They were written as self-instruction, a ruler reminding himself to rule his own mind. We followed that example. We review, we adjust, we recommit, because this path is not conquered in one morning. It is walked daily. 15. The transformation over time. Something changes. Criticism no longer feels like an attack. It feels like background noise. Doubt no longer wounds identity. It sharpens discipline. We stop asking, why don't they believe in me? And start asking, am I living in accordance with my principles? If yes, then doubt is irrelevant. If no, then doubt is useful. Either way, it serves us. And this is the transformation. We are no longer motivated by proving others wrong. We are motivated by becoming stronger, wiser, steadier. The world may continue to doubt, but we continue to rise before dawn. We continue to govern ourselves. We continue to master impulse. We continue to refine character. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, we become the kind of person whose composure cannot be shaken by opinion. This is not rebellion. It is sovereignty. This is not aggression. It is discipline. This is not ego. It is clarity. Let them doubt, because doubt tests us. And what is tested, when it endures, becomes unbreakable.